Everybody, happy Monday. So I wanted to make a video really quickly about cutting negative people off. That seems to be very popular these days. Oh, if they're negative, if they're weighing you down, if they're not matching your vibration, cut them off. And what people don't necessarily acknowledge is that these people are being mirrors. They're reflecting an aspect of you that you need to heal within yourself. So for example, maybe you need to set boundaries and need to be more affirmative about saying no. Maybe your problem is saying no and you just say yes to everything, and that's what has you, thrown in a whirlwind and just getting blown, around by life. Maybe it's that you need to stand firm in speaking your truth. Maybe they say something that is negative, quote unquote, right? Is just bringing up these bad feelings, sorrow, sadness, anger, guilt. But instead of going and finding the silver lining in a situation and presenting that as how you view, you just agree and go, oh yeah, I guess that sucks, blah, blah, blah. And you don't necessarily get to put yourself forth in your true light. And maybe that's what that person is there for, is to call you to move forward and bring that aspect of yourself that the world so desperately needs. Because there's always going to be negative people, and if you cut one person out, another person is going to come. And you have to also look at it from a very compassionate point of view. Anyone that is always finding problems to any solution, always complaining, very negative, very lower vibrational in terms of, anger, guilt, sadness, fear, they're also hurting. And that is how it's manifesting. Their inner turmoil is manifesting as these, as these emotions, as these lower frequencies, and they themselves are in need of help. So to cut them off completely, one, you're just going to invite more people into your experience until that lesson is learned. And two, they themselves need help. So one thing that I found was setting very clear boundaries. I had a friend who would always invite me out, and I would always say yes, and I would always spend a lot of money, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money. I would buy a bunch of stupid stuff. But I realized that that person needed some help too. So instead of just, cutting them off because this person, used to complain a lot, used to always talk about what was going wrong, instead of just completely cutting them off and saying, you know what, I'm never going to talk to you again, anything like that, I was very sturdy and very firm on setting boundaries. So if I went to visit him, it would only be for, a quick second, but I still stayed in contact with him. I still stayed connected, and I allowed him to meet me at my vibration. And it's not one person's, better than other. It's that, this past paradigm has served us for so long, and now we are evolving past that. And he wouldn't have had that chance to get to that level if I had just, gone out of his life completely. So I want you guys to keep that in mind, is that the other person is deeply hurting, and they need a light, they need a beacon to which they can look up to, or just look to and find. So the thing is, maybe you're not setting boundaries. Another one, a big one, is maybe you're not speaking your truth. Maybe you always do find the silver linings. Maybe you always do find something positive out of a lot of situations, but you don't say it because, you feel that that person will look at you as, XYZ. So maybe when they complain about something, your initial thought is to say, well, what about this? What about that? Looking at it from a positive light, looking at it from, the best possible standpoint, finding those silver linings, but you don't say that. You just tend to agree and go, oh yeah, that sucks. So you, are keeping yourself at a lower vibration, and you're not allowing. So setting boundaries is super important. Always speaking your truth and really saying what you feel to be. If you are, quote unquote, a positive person and this person is bringing you down, that means you naturally vibrate at a higher frequency in terms of emotions, but you're not letting that show. So really remember this, guys. You can't just cut someone off completely and not look at it from a compassionate point of view, because they are also hurting deeply inside, and they're just waiting. They're yearning for a hero to come through and really help them break out of this old pattern. And that could be you. That could be you, but you have to be steadfast in setting boundaries. You have to be strong in, standing your ground and speaking your truth and all of those things. And without that, you both are just going to end up repeating the same cycles. So the goal here is not to repeat, but to evolve, to move past it. And that won't happen if you just look at it simply as snip, snip, cut you out, move, this and that. I understand, you have to protect your energy, but at the same time, you have to look at it from a different point of view. So just my perspective, something that really worked with me, something that really I heard and kind of switched something in my mind and allowed me to look at it from, a compassionate point of view. And now I understand that anyone that is just deeply negative and always looking for a problem, they are, one, just hoping that someone else can show them a different way of thinking, that it doesn't have to always be, life doesn't always have to be bad. Life doesn't always have to be this constant struggle. And if you can be that for somebody, they'll be eternally grateful, and it'll change the world whether you realize it or not. Because if you can change one person, if you can help change one person, that has a ripple effect throughout all the people that they in their life, because now they're more present. And when someone comes to them in a similar type of situation, whether they're complaining or bringing up anything negative, they'll be able to hold space for that person, and that person will then raise their vibration and go on, and it has a domino effect. And that's what's happening right now, whether you realize it or not. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It's been a while since I made a IGTV video, so I wanted to put that out there. Hope you guys have a blessed day. It's all about the evolution. It's all about becoming better, realizing in what ways you're self-sabotaging, in what ways you're getting in your own way, and getting out of your own way, and trusting in God, trusting in the universe, trusting in whatever you want to call it. But we're really not in control as much as we think we are. All that we're in control with is our reactions and how we react to certain things. So when you consciously respond from a place of compassion, from a place of love, from a place of understanding, everything changes. So with that being said, I'll try and keep it short. I love you guys. I love everyone. Let's get this growth, baby.